Welcome to the third part of this tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be working on the backend where we'll be using uh, JSON placeholder APIs, which are dummy, I mean, which is a dummy backend API server, and we will integrate this with our proxy server. So these are different routes, and these are the resources. So for more details, you can just visit this website and understand what each route do, what's the significance of each route, and what are the resources we can get. So let's get started. Now over here. Uh, so inside the front end folder, I would like to create one more folder known as routes. And so basically, I used to keep I like to keep the things separate. So what I will do is I will just create one folder routes, and inside that I will create one new file that is posts.js file. So in this posts.js file, we'll use this endpoint to fetch the data. So over here we need to have const express express require express, and one more thing we need const route equals to require something. Let me verify what's that. Oh, it's express.router actually. So express.router here, and basically this is how you'll be setting up the things. Now let's just make sure that we have installed Axios. We haven't installed Axios yet, and we do need it. So what I'll do is I'll just go to backend folder and install Axios. So make sure that you use Axios. So you can see right over here that it was installed, and now we can just make const Axios equals to Axios. Yep, we were able to import this package. Now, okay, so instead of, let's make it router, and yeah, looks like everything is good. Now just make sure we will export it as a module. So exports goes to, okay. Now we need to create the endpoints for this routes. So router dot, I'll create the get endpoints. So if I make a get request to this endpoint, the endpoint would be just simply slash, that is the home route. Then we'll create one function which will have request, comma, response, and we'll just do it. Okay, we have to just create this, and right over here, what we'll do is we'll make a call to which endpoint? This endpoint. So I'll just copy the link and go back over here, and over here I'll just set the URL. URL equals to, okay, now let's just Axios dot. Oh, we need to make the get request, as it is already mentioned over here that we can do the get request. We can also do the post request. So let's just try starting with doing a get request. So I'll just get URL, and once I receive the URL, then so you'll receive a promise. So once you receive response, or I want to name it as posts, then what I want to do is I just want to return it. So res dot res dot send or res.json. Uh, Anything is fine, to be honest, but I'll just do res.json posts, and this will return the post. If there is some error, then we need to catch the things, right? So we need to handle this. So, right? It was catch. And inside catch, it's error. Let's just name it as ERR. So ERR uh, return res dot send ERR. Okay, so we set up this route and we need to import that route over here. So I'll just quickly import this route. So how do we import this route? So I'll just try to import it as well. Sorry for that. Okay, let it be as it is. And where were we? Oh, okay. We need to import that posts equals to require dot slash routes slash posts. So that module is imported right over here. And now let's just use it. App dot, yes, it was use. Let's just verify this. Yeah, it's app.use. So I'll do app.use, and we'll use this module for the path posts. So, okay, first of all, let me just and paste it right over here below this. So first it will check whether if it's the home route, then it will respond with send. I mean, it will send the response hello world. Then it will check if it matches this route. Then what? Then it will simply go right over here, and then it will verify whether it just matches this route. Then it will make the get call using Axios at this API endpoint and just return the response. And if it isn't able to receive any response, it will send the error message which it received. So let's just try whether it's working or not. So npm run dev. Okay. Wait, it just crashed. Requires a middleware function. Okay. So looks like we missed something over here. Hmm, what we need. Hmm, First of all, let's just install the course npm install. just import it right over here. So what was that? Course, right? Course equals to require course. Okay. And now just app dot use course. Yeah. And this would be a function. So we just use this. Should right over here. Let's see if this works. Uh, let's go. And npm. Okay, again it's crashing. Need to make sure what's more equals to it's crashing. That's weird. We don't need server. So we'll just simply okay. Express app.use requires a middleware function. Oh, looks like we just missed a trick right over here. So here we also need to pass that it will be handled by posts. Let's see if that works. Yep, now it's working. So we set up the route, but we didn't mention what to display. So now I've just linked it and let's just see. Just put it down again. Yeah, okay, let's just see if this works. Hello world, and let's go to posts. Okay, I don't receive anything. And let's go right over here. Okay, let's just hmm, let's just console log the response over here. Console say so what's happening? Post. Okay, let's just console log this. Let's just request it again and see. We are receiving the response over here, but we aren't able to send it right. Yeah, let's just try send. See if this works. No, it didn't work. So what's wrong? Okay. We are able to see the data in the terminal. That means we are making the correct call, but we are not able to send the correct response. Let's just try to send. Oh, let me try JSON dot something with JSON dot parse. Oops. Let's try this if this works. No, need help. What's this? Oh, okay. Posts dot data. This works. Work. Wow. Oh, okay, so response dot post. Where are we? Just post dot data. Right, we'll save this file and just reload it. Okay, so you can see we are getting the same response. So instead of send, we'll just do JSON and let's just see. Okay, still we are getting the same response. That's fine. Uh, this shouldn't matter anyway. Let's just try to just comment this part and JSON.parse. Yes, let's just save and check it out. Oops, some error. JSON.stringify. We don't need anything like this. The simple response works for us, so I think we are good. Okay, so now we are able to access this endpoint. I want to add an endpoint similar to the one this has like /1. If I have /1, then I want to display the post with ID 1. So let's just explore it. So the response would look similar to this, and uh, posts. Okay, never mind. So we'll have router dot get /:ID and function. Okay, so in here we need to access this ID, right? So how are we going to access it? We'll just there are multiple ways of uh, passing the data. So in this example, we'll be seeing that we'll be fetching the ID right from here instead of passing to some routes called ID. I mean, there are two ways. So I don't want, I mean, I can have URL slash post slash id colon id equal to, or instead of this I can directly have this id equal to 123 or whatever we want. And the another option is we can have something like this post, and I want to see the first post 123 post. So we are trying to do the second part, I mean this second thing. So how can we do that? So we'll just use request dot parents, I'm not wrong, and dot it should be ID. So we'll get the ID from here and we'll store it in one variable ID. Now let's just make an Axios call, Axios dot get call. To make a get call, let's again make a URL, and what's the URL? So in this URL, this is the URL. Okay, copy and pasted over here, and I want to add the ID to this. So this would be my URL, and I'll make a URL call right over here, and then I'll just copy paste this part just because we do not need to modify anything, any response. So I'll just do something like this and just save this file. Now let's go to our backend. Let's try it if this works. Slash. Yeah, this works. You can see that it's working fine. Okay, so is there any difference? Doesn't look like there's any difference, but yeah, looks like everything is fine. So we can try it for 50, I guess. Yeah, so we are getting the same response. Let's just verify that 550 rep now. It's just a loading some kind of thing, random text generated. So yes, this endpoint is also working. And so we have set up the backend, our proxy server, where we'll be using two routes. That one would be for post and one would be for post slash ID. Uh, we can also have commands the same way they are having. We can have all the paths they are having, but we'll just focus on these two paths right now. So now what we'll do is we'll just link this with our with our front end. So we would like to make a front end call. We would like to make a call to these endpoints from our front end. So now we know that what are the routes for our backend server. So let's go to the front end server now. And in this front end, okay, so what would we like to have is, uh, if we remember, let's just verify the routes for these components. And okay, so we can now just modify it to post, and let's modify it to ID. So we don't need this second thing. And okay, just leave it as it is. We won't be using it for this tutorial, but let's just keep it as it is. So now what are the things we need to manage? So let's start with first page component. So inside the first page component, okay, we are using common page component multiple times. And what else we have? We'll display first child component if there's some ID along with this. So first page here, we can, okay, I'll just comment, we can display all the posts here. Okay, this is the thing we'll be doing. So I'll just add a to do. Okay, and what's the next thing? So when we click on any of the post, then we want to open the details page of that post. So suppose we clicked on post which has ID 1, it should open this component. So let's go to that component, and first child component here we uh, to do here, we want to display the de- display all the details of the post. Okay, so I'll just comment this out. I don't need this, and we'll just comment this part now for now, and I'll just move it down to here. Okay, and I also don't need this thing. Okay, so now I'll have one h1. Oh, h1, and it will be like mm, all posts will have a heading all post, and then I want to process the data over here. So before getting started with um, this, before getting started how we'll be displaying the data, let's just create one service. So for services, again, I would prefer to make one folder. So I'll just add new folder called services, and one more terminal, go to front end and go to services. Okay, so we'll use ng generate service. So instead of writing whole spelling for generate and service, we can just use this shortcuts like ng and space g space s. This means that we want to generate a new service. And mm, what name would you like to give to this service? I would like to give posts name to the service. So it will generate a new service, post service. So let's go inside and see, right? It won't create the folder like it creates for a component. It will directly create the files inside this folder. So we got this. Now we want to make the call to, I mean, HTTP calls. We want to make a call to our backend server. So we'll just import HTTP client from Angular. I guess it was common, or is there anything specific? HTTP. Yeah, looks like this is the one we need. Okay, so again, before setting this up, we also need HTTP client module to be added inside our app modules. If I'm not wrong, let's just import it. Import HTTP. We'll get the. So let's go to common slash HTTP. So let's go over here and see what are the options we have. Client module, and we'll just add that module over here. So HTTP client module. So we have added it over here. We have saved this file. Let's go back and create one instance of it. So we have a private spelling mistake. Private. That's correct. HTTP client. HTTP client. Okay, we just created it, and now I want to create one get post function. So I'll explain get all post function where I don't want any parameter. I don't want to pass any parameter. I'll just make a HTTP client call, and that would be a get call. So you get an option which type of call you want to make, like get call, post call, delete port. Those are the basic ones. So as we have set up the endpoints in our backend server, which will just accept the get calls, we won't be able to get the response for the if we go to the same route and make a post API call. So for, because of that, we'll just set it. We'll make a get call over here, and we also need the URL. So let URL equals to. I'll just copy it from here. Copy and paste it. Okay. So we want URL. That's it. And I'll just return this. So return the response which we get by making the API call to this specific URL. And I just want to return that response directly without processing anything inside the service. So let's go back to let's go back to first page. Where's the first page? Okay, over here. Uh, we need to import this. We need to import this post service. So just keep the page tab side by side and import. Double slash services. How do we import a service? Well, how do we import it? It's just like, okay, we need to give a route to this. Slash services, VCs, slash. So we are right over here. We are going one folder up, then one folder up, and then we want to go to services. That's right. And post, post, uh, post dot service, right? Post dot services, service or service. Okay, services. It's service. So we import it and we have post service right over here. So we are able to import it. And now let's just, whenever you import any service, you need to create an instance of it. So private post service colon post service. That's fine. Now in Geon init, I want to call this service. So uh, what we can do is we can create one function fetch data which will make an API which will call the function inside post service dot get all post and we'll subscribe that data. We'll subscribe it and we'll receive the response, we'll process it and store it inside public object. Let's create it as what should we name it? Posts should be there. Yeah, this should object. So we are receiving an JSON object. So initially we'll keep it empty and right over here we'll just assign posts equal to res dot date. Res. I think we just need to have res. We don't need res dot data. What do we need res dot data? I think we just need res. Yeah, that's. Let's just try. If this doesn't work, we'll figure it out. So now we in ng on init, we need to call this. So I'll just make a function call and yeah, done. So let's just try to print this posts on the page. So posts, oops, is the P capital? I'm not sure. What's this? No, it's small. It's small. This should be fine, I guess. Okay, we'll need to ng sub. Okay, this may take some time to start the server. Hopefully, it should not take. Okay, so server is running. Let's just open it. Details. Okay, looks like we need to fix the navbar once again in this tutorial. Let's go there. We changed the path to posts and posts number. So here we will rename it posts and post details. Details. Great. We save it and posts. That's not working. Why is that so? Let's go posts and save this. This should work fine now. Yep, we got all the posts, and you can see we are not able to display the JSON response directly. Instead of that, we are using the uh, array object array which has the object inside it. So why is that so? Let's go and explore that. So when we make this API call, what we receive an array, and inside array we receive the objects. So it's an array of objects basically. So now how will we be able to display the each specific objects? Let's run a for loop. That should be there. That should be for loop on the right over here. Okay, so I'll just create one div and just have star ng for equals to let the post of posts. This will work fine without any error. And paste it, post, save this file. Okay, this works fine. We don't see anything. That means we are not. This line is incorrect. So let's just try to fix it. How will we be able to fix it? Let's see. Okay. What was that? How to JSON data in Angular. Let's see if we find something. We have the data similar to this, and that's right. Okay, so here you can see ng for let bird of array. Okay, I see. So post of posts. We'll just add one more div. Paste and ng if equals to posts. Let's see if okay. Should work, right? This is how they have done. Let's copy this. Oh, shit. Oh, I see. I think I understand. Why is it so? It's just because we need to have object array. It's just because of type. Hmm. Post equals to array. Is it possible? What? Is this possible? Yes. Looks like it is possible. Okay. And mm, let's see if this works. This was post. Yes. Okay. What we'll do is we'll just set it to any for now. It should work for now. Wow. You can see this, right? Now, next task. So, okay, posts, and you want to pass post. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, post dot ID. Ah, ah. We can see all the post and we can see the ID. Now we can display multiple things like post dot title. I'm not sure whether we have title. Okay, we can see that. So what are user ID as well and body? Okay, I want to display user dot user ID and dot body if I'm not wrong. Post dot body. Let's just say this. Let's see if this works. Okay, I want to yeah right over here. And we are right after this and two BRs right after this. Okay, so we can easily identify this other data and do it like post ID colon just ID colon BR and over here title colon and we have user ID colon body. Oops. Body colon yeah. Let's see. Great. So we are able to pass the data right over here. And let's just see what's next. Object. Some way to do this to subscribe a data of specific type. It's like, is it so? So Forget it. Just let's just remove this and keep it any. That's fine. For now, if this works for now, this is good. So initially it's undefined and it won't be displaying the data initially. But once, so you can see there's some gap, there's some time difference between uh, displaying this part of the component and this data. So it's just like it takes some couple of seconds, not exactly, but a part of seconds or microseconds to fetch the data and to display it. So that's why you may see the lag. And now let's just add a clickable link. Let's just create it like this would be a clickable link and it would navigate to something like this. Okay, so let's let's create one. Where we here? Right over here. We'll create one a tag and inside the a tag we need to have this part. Okay, and we'll just href. We can also have a href something like that. Okay, but we can use router link. Uh, what's that? Router link. We need to pass something like yeah. Let's just have like box and equals to inside this which route you want to go to. So I want to go to posts and then I want to have post dot id. So this is the route where I want to go. Let's just try it out if this works. What's this? We don't need this. Disable this. We don't need this. Okay, let's just save this and see if this works. Post, post one. No, this didn't work. Okay, so need to figure this out how to do this part of this assignment. Okay, so hmm, how do we do this? Can we directly have something like this? Slash and plus let's see if this works. Okay, so the issue is it goes to posts at the left bottom. You can see what is the link it it is pointing to. So it's posts one, which is not a valid link. So I'll just remove this and let's see if this works. Yes, it works. Great. So now what will we do? We'll go to child component and we want to display the data right over here, the details of this post right over here. So we'll just copy this thing, copy it, Go to first child. First side. Where's first side? It's fine. Okay. Right over here. We paste it and we don't have these things, so just copy paste those things. Copy. Where? Okay. And see. Comma. Post service. We are able to import it successfully and just name it as ID. We'll change it to ID and ID. So, okay, so before changing this to ID, let's just make sure we have ID right over here. That's correct. So we got the ID and we need to create one public post. That will be an object for this time. It won't be an array. Let's just initialize it with this thing. And it posts, uh, let's just see, get all post, get post. We'll create one function called get post inside this service, and in here we need to pass the ID, so for which ID we want to make a call. So let's just copy this part again and paste it right here. So what's wrong? Why can't we have something like this? Let's just verify if we can have this thing. Okay, so uh, just a second. Mm, we want to, yeah, give a specific type to this, I guess, and it can be string. It let's just have string. We will be having it a string post plus ID. Great, and we'll be making to returning the same thing. Let's go right over here. Choose an error just because. Let's do this. Let's see if this works. Okay, we are not passing an ID over here, so we need to pass this dot ID, and I think we are good. Post, this does post. Okay, we are good now. And let's go to, we don't have anything right over here, so what we'll do is we'll just copy this part and copy this and paste it right over here directly, but we'll remove this thing, tag, save it. So over here, what we can do is we can just go to new line, comment this line. Yeah. Okay. So now let's. Oh, I see. I see where we went wrong. So hmm, we have post, but right over here, everything. We can just add a div for ng, which will be displaying this data only if post will be there. This line is right over here. Just say this and okay. That's weird. Okay, let's just see what we receive. So for the post one, We receive the same thing, but we aren't able to display it. That's weird. Okay, user ID. Let's just console log the thing and see. We have post. We have this post. What is post? Yeah, just any. And just post. First one, it's not displaying just because it might not have received any data, I guess. Let's just console log the data response. Let's see. We didn't receive anything. Seriously. Get post. We have saved this file as well. So, oh, I see. I think we will get the data now. Mhm. So this console log URL to see if we are making the call to correct URL. We are not able to make a call. Is it so? Yeah, we can see this, but we can't see the call to get post. So what's wrong? Post services dot get post is dot id. Oh, silly. We are not making a function call. That's weird. Okay, we can see we got the data. Now just go back to service and comment the console log messages. Okay. Oops. Okay. This is right because of this. We don't want to see anything in console log if we are not debugging the thing. So let's go right over here. Open the first. Let's go to number. Let's go to 3. So this is the basic tutorial in which we learned how to uh, how to develop a proxy server and how to make a call from your front end to your proxy server. Or you can even directly make a call to the uh, backend server, for example, this server directly. I'll just show you quickly. We need to go to this service and create one. I update the URL right over here. Just comment this so that won't confuse you. And just copy this, paste it right there, and alert plus right over here. Comment this line as well. Let's see if this works. Okay. Okay, it did work. Just because we are missing slash, I guess. Yes, this works. So in this tutorial, we learned how to link or how to make an API call from your front end that is Angular to the back end. That is, in this case, uh, your Express server. And this concludes the tutorial 3 and hope you learn and hope you find this helpful. Thank you.